right, good evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Clerk, would you call roll?
We don't have any, so, Jim Schrader.
Here.
James Cartman.
Present.
Isaiah Crowe.
Here.
Barb. Here. Scott. Cindy Bunting. Here. Tom Turk.
The only.
And I'm here.
I have proof of posting. Would you please write the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Yep. It's all spaced out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so who's,
Jim and Mark. All right, discussion? All right, hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
James? Sandy?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Tom? Yep. I'll vote yes as well. Do I have a motion to approve the Board of Education meeting minutes on June 27, 2016?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right. Discussion? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
James?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Tom? Yep. I'll vote yes as well. Do I have a motion for the approval of payroll accrual and disbursement?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, please.
Discussion? Yeah, please go ahead.
Randy, I wonder if you could explain this. I'm aware of it, but we wrote a check to the Middleton Cross Plains School District for $20,617, and it says open enrollment tuition. Could you explain that?
I would think some special ed, off the top of my head, I may have to look into it.
It's from, there's a Mount Horeb one.
Okay.
So I'll have to dig and can I email you what I found?
Oh, yeah,
All of it?
yeah.
Isn't it just typically our tax dollars that move when the kids have opened enrolled?
I
Yeah.
don't know why it'd be, but
It's
this
just
is
a
a voucher.
typical, because it, you know, it was like 6,000 per student about, so it means that there are that many students
You
that were
just-
there.
Yeah, just the hard cold facts that our tax money is going to other school districts.
Right. Yes.
And I don't know if you want to pursue that.
Yeah, I'll dig into it and let you all know. So there was one for Middleton and one for,
Mount Horeb.
yeah, it strikes me as one of those kinds of deals. Sometimes you gotta pay, we have kids we pay above and beyond.
No, not typically.
Transportation or something. I'll dig into it and let you know.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot, right?
No, just,
Oh, yeah. But Mount Horeb was
Higher, it's
26,500.
And those are the two districts that the most kids go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
No further discussion.
Anybody else? All right. Jim?
Yes.
James?
yeah.
Sandy?
Yes.
Barb?
Yeah.
Cindy?
Yes.
Tom? Yep. I'll vote yes as well. All right, reports. Board President report. A lot of cleaning going on around the district. Watch out for all the cleaning happening. Lots of cool things. I know they got speed sports camps right now going on, strength and conditioning. Going to welcome Mr. Randy Freeze, hopefully with tonight. Welcome Randy. Also, one other announcement. I'd like to recognize that ASTA has been actually selected for a really cool award, actually a really very honorable thing, which is the U.S. Department of Education has placed her on an advisory committee. So not only do we got Principal of the Year, we have somebody at the national level who's advocating for our rights. So do you want to speak about it at all?
Other than they called me today to in-service me. My official in-service is July 19th on Skype. I found out that there's a lot more work than I thought. apparently I have to spend quite a bit of time data researching not only my district, but comparable districts in the Midwest that are similar to ours. So it'll be fun, but it's kind of a pressure cooker, you know, reports put out. But yeah, no, it's very exciting. Since the a principal of the year a couple of years ago, it just so happened I was in the right place at the right time, and when I was there in DC, Congressman Pocan, through some unusual connections, found out that I was there and offered me a position on his regional advisory committee here. So for 2 years, I've been going to Madison and a couple times phone conferences, and have been just a regional committee member, which is probably why it sort of helped that I had that. So the National Association of Secondary School Principals is the one who, they're kind of a lobbying group, and they got to offer a candidate. So they called me back in late February, early March, and asked if I would be willing to be, you know, take this on if they nominated me. I said, sure. And lo and behold, Friday I found out that, you know, it's sort of an appointment. It's not really an award, it's an appointment.
Cabinet appointment.
Yeah. Well, not a cabinet. You know, there's no free flights out to DC yet, and it's basically, I think, schlep work for them. But
it's an honor nonetheless.
it is,
so
yeah.
Congratulations.
It is very cool because, you know, you get to have a little bit of a, you know, national, you know, input. But I have found out that in this process of these 2 years of being with Congressman Pocan is that to make any kind of movement in education, any legislation, it takes so long. You know, you come in there that first day, I have great ideas, and okay, we'll start by writing them down, and then you form a subcommittee, and then maybe if he's lucky, 2 years later, you can put a little thing on a rider, you know, so it's interesting how things work, but unless we're willing to get involved and be noisy about it, you know, we're constantly complaining as educators that, oh, who put this law into effect, who's telling us to do this? Well, we've got to get out there, and that's kind of, I feel, a little bit of a civic educator's, you know, responsibility. So, anyway, sorry, I talked too much, but it was exciting.
Very awesome.
District Administrator report.
You got anything?
Hey,
I'm getting to work
You're
today.
here.
I found the bathroom. Us and I found some furniture that we didn't know what it was for or where it was going. But no, it's been interesting, and we're kind of hitting the ground. I talked to Mark many times, talked to him today about some stuff and picking away and sorting out some staffing. And, you know, I think in terms of that, I think we probably need to focus on compensation for the staff. We haven't done that yet. So that's probably, if somebody said, you know, it's probably one of our most immediate things, we probably have to figure out what we're gonna do there in terms of for this upcoming year. So that's kind of next. You know, I met with all the building projects seem to be going underway, and you could bite off some more tonight. Get in the groove. I'll be here almost all week, and a little bit of next week, then I'll be gone. Meeting people and getting it underway.
One other thing that is going on right now that people may not be aware is that I believe we have maybe 5 foreign exchange students who are here in the community somewhere. It's probably a little less noticeable because school's not in session, but I met one of them from Spain today. So they're here visiting with families and kind of participating, so that's kind of fun too.
And we have 2 of them are on swim team and doing fabulous.
Oh, cool.
All right, so committee reports. Barb, Public Relations Committee, what you got?
So we talked about a lot. We ran out of time, so that's a good sign. basically, we talked about how, well, pretty much overhauling our communications in general, going towards a more electronic base, but really to achieve thorough and open communication with the public, and while also focusing on marketing ourselves. And so we started with the brochure. If people want to take a look, it was done a few years ago, so it could use some revamping. We talked about decreasing some of the wordiness and getting some of the main focal points of the district and small school values and that kind of thing, maybe changing up the visuals. But also with that, having a meet and greet with some local realtors eventually, so they can hand this out, and placement around the community and businesses and what, as far as marketing and that kind of stuff. Also, with the referendum coming up, we talked about how to best communicate with the public and going towards a more, again, electronic form with that. We highlighted a Facebook page as maybe being a priority, just because a lot of people get their information, and rather than reading through, a newsletter booklet, people may be more engaged if they can just see blurbs from the day or the sporting event achievements, and really just, kind of hitting it at this speed where not only are we sharing information, but a lot of the creative aspects, maybe in classroom and outside that, people don't normally get to see. And with that, you know how Facebook works. If, your friends like it, my friends like it, and then their friends like it, pretty soon, you're marketing ourselves through a lot of people seeing, what Heights has to offer and stuff. So we're looking to get that up and running. And also talked about our vision and mission statements, and maybe looking at revamping that, and maybe even coming up with a motto that we can put on t-shirts, and so again, just kind of revamping our communication structure, and again, focusing on that open communication with the public and sharing as much as we can, and kind of getting people excited about our district.
I hope the realtor thing works out better for you than it did for me, because I personally invited over 30, and we indirectly invited probably about 50. And I think we had 2, Jim, do you remember? It was like 2, I think, showed up.
And how many years ago? At least 5.
Yeah, probably about that.
So when you invite 30 and 2 show up, you have like it's kind of well out with it.
Yeah.
Is it? Yes.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, I do like the Facebook group. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
Yeah.
Even if you just put a little blurb, it keeps people top of mind.
Yeah.
It's that.
Put Tom in charge of the Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll link it to mine. Oh, wait, I don't have one.
You
Okay.
can still get the newsletter.
Yeah.
All right, public input. Do we have any public input?
No, we beat you now,
All right, on to district business. Personnel, do I have an action to accept the resignation of Core Peter Skolixon as Mason Building Coordinator Math Contest?
So moved.
All right. Discussion. Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Barb?
Yeah.
Cindy?
Yes.
Tom? Yep, I'll vote yes as well. Do I have a motion to hire Randy Freeze as .91 FTE District Administrator for the 2016-2017 school year with a salary of $113,750?
So moved.
Discussion.
Thank you so much.
Here.
Oh, thank you.
Here,
Very
thank you for
excited.
looking
Glad to
this
have you.
out.
It'll be fun.
All right, Jim?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Barb?
Yep.
Cindy?
Yes.
Tom? Yep. I'll vote yes as well. District Business Finance. Do I have a motion to approve the Black Earth Roofing repair bids, or bid? And what that is we got
Total
a
basement.
bid back from, we were recommended from our contractor or subcontractor IRS to go with the $119,236 bid from Pioneer Roofing. Thank you. So,
I'll make that motion.
Do we normally just get 2 bids?
well, we put it up
Put
an
it
open
out.
bid
Oh.
and sealed, or no, we,
That common row that we.
It's a
All
seal
the
running
roofing companies are so busy right now
Yeah,
that
that's true.
right.
we're
Yep,
lucky
yeah.
you can get it.
So I got
First,
Cindy,
anyone want a second?
I'll second that.
discussion.
I would say Koshik is probably very busy as to why their bid was so much higher.
Yeah, I know.
If we get it for that, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Right, we'll make you a priority, we'll get in front of the list. All right. Jim,
Yes.
James, Sandy,
Yes.
Barb,
Yep.
Cindy,
Yes.
Tom? Sure. I'll vote yes as well. All right, do I have an act, or do I have a motion to accept the Black Earth and Mazamani exterior wall sealing bid, which is. It was for, but this one comes in 2 parts. So it's recommended that we accept the low bid from Custom Restoration Inc. in the amount of $17,568. And then recommend that we also accept their mandatory alternative bid for the amount of $16,742 for a total price of $34,310.
Dale, what is this about?
So it's Grace,
The seams?
yes,
Okay.
that's what they're doing, and I think they're doing all the way around, but they're in rough shape, and they need, it's time. I don't know if
They've
they've
even been
been
done since,
since my time
School
here, I
was
don't know
done.
if it's
Not
ever,
since my time.
yeah.
That was like
Yeah,
the
they're-
Civil War.
They're, I mean,
I think the concern was the reason, they wanted to do the one building, they wanted to see what the other one would cost. And we had like $150,000 for both of these projects. So since that fit, we'll just go ahead and get them both, and then you got a good price on both of them at this point.
I'll move to approve those bids, Lindsay.
I'll second.
All right. Discussion? Hearing none. Jim,
Yes.
James, Sandy,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Tom?
Yep.
I'll vote yes as well. All right, action on the spring operational referendum. The reason this is on here is we had originally decided we wanted to go with a 3-year referendum.
And in the fall?
And in the fall, thank you, to the November ballot, with the departure of Mark. I think that it would be, and I think that some of us have probably got feedback from the community, that'd be a better idea for us to go back to the two-year during the spring cycle for a referendum. It gives the community a little bit more consistency with what we're asking, it lowers the number a bit, until we can work on getting a new superintendent in the long term.
I was pushing for that first place, for the April one, but through different circumstances now, certain. Does that give you enough of a timeline, Randy, to?
Yeah, I think, we have to, the board needs to be finalized about, what they're doing about 70 days before. You have some statutory stuff. So, this is we need to get it done by Christmas kind of thing.
Yep.
But that'll give us time.
Yep, it needs to be on by January 24th. We need to have it on the day submitted.
I don't believe there was a motion, was there, Tom? There was to go? Okay. So what do we do then? Just make a new motion?
Yeah, I would say we make a new motion that says that we are rescinding the motion to do it in November, and that we will be pursuing it in April.
We do 2 separate first, redo it,
I think one
or in one.
So motion to rescind previous,
previous motion for a November referendum,
continue it.
and go for a 2-year referendum in April.
Motions on the table.
The second,
I would say a 2-year operating referendum. That's what it is.
Operational referendum.
Operational. And then do it for April 26th.
Tom, motion?
I'll second.
Well, I didn't, but that's fine.
Fine.
Sounded good for me.
Created it.
Created the motion, good.
I like it.
I'll second.
Yep. Discussion? Besides Jim saying this is what he wanted to begin with. All right, hearing none. Jim?
yes.
James?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Tom?
Why not?
I'll vote yes as well. All right, set committee or board meetings as needed. The next board meeting would be on. Yep, it's on the 25th. Committee meetings,
There's a policy on the line.
25th is a policy. You're not, okay. Cindy, what's correct? Okay. All right, so we have policy on the 25th. Any other committee meetings coming up?
Should we do, employee?
Yeah, probably get with Randy and set up employee relations
So
or
when
meet
do you
confirm.
come back?
I'll be back August 1st for sure.
Should we,
I'll frame some stuff.
should we do it August 8th?
Well, when are going to be our meetings in August?
8th and
8th and
25th?
25th.
Well, the 25th is not, 25th is a Thursday.
It says Monday, August 25th.
It'd be the 22nd.
The 22nd.
Well, we're gonna do a PR, meeting first.
Okay. Of August.
Time to be determined.
Yes.
Yep. Finish up our conversation.
So do you want to have personnel on the 8th? You want an hour, 5:30?
We're gonna need an hour.
So the meeting confer would be with the employees? Is that a meeting
Well,
confer or is
we
that?
almost need to talk about, we have some things I think we need to talk about
Okay,
first.
all right. So there is August 1st, we're gonna have
And
a
here's somewhere, hang on, bear with me.
public relations meeting with time to be determined. And when did you guys want to do that? Do you know when you're gonna do that one yet?
Let's, if you can meet the 8th, Randy, if we can do 5:30.
Obviously, in person.
And then we need to make sure we tell Perry to change this because it's.
Yeah, the
gonna be
22nd.
The 22nd.
Okay, what are the dates, what are you reviewing?
The employee-
Do those?
So August 8th,
It's right in front.
Your meeting on the 25th first?
no, it's the
22nd.
22nd. That's a Monday.
Wait, July 25th is a normal board meeting.
Okay, good.
And
Okay,
then the next one is August 1st, which is a public relations meeting.
August 8th.
August 8th. No.
No, August first is.
So the July 25th is a regular board meeting, but there's a policy meeting at 5:30.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Now, when we go to August 8th, the school board meeting is the 8th. but There's a personnel meeting at 5:30 prior to that. And then the 22nd is our next school board meeting, and you guys are having,
On the first, we're having the PR meeting.
on the 1st, they're having a public relations meeting, but that's just an independent meeting they're having on that day. To be determined time.
Yep.
Is there any special meetings on the 22nd?
Not from what I can gather.
Okay. I thought, did they say they want a budget and finance to get together again after?
Talk with Cheryl, you have any meetings between them to tell them? Figure it out.
That's why I keep it around.
Okay.
Triggered.
We answer all your questions?
yes.
Okay.
All right.
That's correct.
Motion to adjourn?
But,
Wait, I'm sorry.
it says upcoming district events.
Sorry, thank you.
When is the registration?
August 10th. Noon at 7 o'clock.
I did have one quick question, because I wasn't at the last meeting, and I got an email from Cheryl that you wanted a comparison of fees.
Oh, yes.
Is that just for your information, or is that something that needs to get changed as we're printing the registration packets?
Well, it was brought up in the finance meeting, and it was kind of decided that we would review them. And Mark had said that you had done that once before.
I did. I sent them to Cheryl, the old ones, and she said to update them.
Okay, so
The
when
whole
do you have
premise
to?
was to make possible changes.
Yes, so when is the deadline that you have to know to print your, to print?
Well, it's kind of two parts. We put the packets out for everyone to pick up July 25th. And I know that's, we could potentially put in the old forms. And then August 10th is when they come and actually write the checks. So it could be that on August 10th, we could say, oh, hey, we tweaked a few of the changes from what was put in your packets.
So
So,
the latest we have to let you know by August 10th.
Well, it'd be good to
No.
put it not, it'd be good to put the right one in.
It needs to be ready by the 25th.
Could we
I
send
know
those
so
the right
too.
checks before they get here,
Right,
right?
yeah.
well, the other thing is we also have to set up the Skyward system so that when they press art, it comes out $10, you know, or whatever.
James, would you be available the 18th?
Yes.
Should we meet then? See, and then, well, we would, the 25th,
I
though.
could be the 18th, not the 25th.
And was it like all the
You're
fees
not on budget.
you wanted
You're not
to
on budget.
know about, or the parking fees, or everything?
It was
across-
originally the parking fees, but then it was brought up that is reducing the parking fees, are we viewed as supporting education by reducing the parking fees? So
All
we
I will
said-
say, I will tell you from, I have said this since I've been here, and in my comparison, which I did, I think, 2-3 years ago, that our fee, which is $90, was more than twice the amount of every other school. I think the cheapest one after that was $35, or the most expensive after that was $35. The parking fee has been
That's the one that you have the
substantial.
biggest
The
issue
only school district within any, I did a capital conference, and then I also did other ones that are near here that are not in the capital conference. The only school that was higher was Middleton Cross Plains, but theirs is like, theirs is $153 for the year, but they had only X number of spots, and it's kind of a, you know.
So all the other fees you look at as being pretty on par with us.
We were a tad bit higher in the athletic fees. The other ones, you know, it's hard comparing apples to oranges because we have, you know, some, I think the art fees are similar. I'm still waiting for some other answers.
This could be on the 18th and then get it on.
I just know that the parking fee was probably the most
Tell me, because she's gonna have it out on the 25th.
visible.
So what I would say, Isaiah, is the best thing to do would be to get a consensus of the board that if the Budget and Finance Committee makes a recommendation that we are okay to give that to Asta and then have it approved on the 25th, because she'll have to print it before then.
So what is the board's pleasure? Do we have, would we like to give the committee the consensus of that?
Yeah, and then any of you that aren't on the committee, if you want to come to that meeting, come to it, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm fine with it.
Oh.
Should have no issue.
And the thing is that on that meeting, on the 25th, if the board doesn't like what the budget committee has done, then you vote against it and
And it's the old sheet.
and it's the old sheet.
So what time do you want to have the meeting on the 18th?
That's fine.
Whenever, anytime in the evening.
Was there any decision made last time on the food lunch? Is that already changed?
Yes,
5 cents.
yes, 5 cents.
So everything across the board is 5 cents more.
No, it sounds like more than 5 cents. Wasn't it 25 cents?
No.
No, we did that a couple years ago.
I don't think we actually talked about breakfast.
I think it was just lunch,
It
Asta.
was just lunch.
Just lunch, lunch per meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of 3.10, middle high school students would be 3.15. For elementary, instead of 2.85, it would be 2.90.
Correct.
All right, you're gonna meet on at 5:30 on the 18th.
Perfect.
5:30. 6 would work better, but I could make 5:30 work.
6 okay with you, James?
Sure.
What time is it, 6?
6 o'clock on the 18th.
That's true. All right, any other upcoming district events? Any other upcoming district events? All right, hearing none. Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Discussion? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Sandy? Barb?
Yeah.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Tom? All the ways as well.
Sounds awesome.
My.
Hey, Dale?
There was